Now, how we are going to execute this program in the sense? So, in order to execute, we need to create one more package. So, we call it as an runner. So, let me create a package called as an test runner or runner. Okay, so this naming conversions, this package names are purely your choice. So you can even if you wish to rename this feature file or rename the name of the step definition file, you can rename accordingly. So now we are going to run the code. So in order to run the code, obviously, right, we need some class file. So just I'm adding the class file. So I'm just adding the class called as an runner. And how we are going to run the code? So generally, as per Java rule, so in order to run a particular class file, so we may add a main method. Okay, so we may add the main method. Whenever we add the main method, so the JRE will be enabled, which is the runner will be available. We can run the particular class. So which means with the help of the main method, we can run only the particular class. So now how we are going to run in the framework in the sense, so when it comes to a framework, we don't need the main method. So instead of it, like we will be running the code with the help of the annotations. So we have a number of annotations in the Cucumber framework. So the next annotation, so which we are going to discuss, is like called as an at run with. Okay, so with the help of the at run with annotation, like we are going to run the class files of the Cucumber. So which is nothing but like whatever the class file we have created, the Salesforce code we call it as a class file. So we are going to run the class files of the Cucumber. So I'm going to use the annotation called as an at run with, and this at run with annotation should add above the class. Okay, so top of the class. So now let me try to add the annotation called as an at run with. Okay, but when I try to add this annotation, so like I'm not getting the import statement, because this annotation is provided by the JUnit runner. So there are different runner which are available, so called as an JUnit runner and testng runner. So these are the two types of runner we will be using in our framework. So generally the Cucumber framework doesn't have the runner, so we need to depend upon the other framework. So either we should use the JUnit runner or testng runner. So which means like we are going to integrate the Cucumber and the JUnit. So like how we are going to integrate in the sense, so simple, like we are going to add the respective dependency. So how we can add the dependency in the sense, like as usual, like we are navigating to the maven repository. Okay, so where we are going to search with the keyword called as an cucumber, and post that there will be few suggestions. Okay, let me just search with the keyword called as an cucumber. So here you could see cucumber JUnit. So we are going to add the cucumber JUnit jar file, so that the runner annotation will be enabled. And if you notice, like there will be two annotation called as an cucumber JUnit, and even if you see the cucumber jar present twice. So whenever you are going to add any of the dependency, so please have the note on release date. So when this Java has been released, it has been released, the latest release was on December 11, 2023. But whereas this particular Java was released on like 2019, which means like this is kind of an old dependency. So we should not use the old dependency. So we should use the new dependency. So I'm just going to add the Cucumber JUnit dependency so that we can use the runner. So while adding the JUnit dependency, so make sure in the pom.xml, so we should add the similar version of Cucumber Java. So the version of Cucumber Java is 7.15. So which means you should add the Cucumber JUnit in the similar version. So that is why I'm just selecting 7.15. So the version should matches. So else we will face some issues. So I'm just copying the respective dependency and I'm placing inside the dependency session. So as I told, whenever we are adding any new dependency, so we should do the maven reload. So just at the right corner, so click on the maven, and if we expand the dependency, initially we have the Selenium and Cucumber Java. So the Cucumber JUnit dependency is not added, so just you can reload it up. So whenever we reload, what happened? So it will communicate to the global repo, and from the global repo, so it will download the required jar files to our system. So you could see it has added the Cucumber JUnit. So now if I navigate to the runner file and if I hover my mouse, I could see the import statement. So like you could see from the import statement, we can see where it is imported. It is imported from the JUnit. It is imported from the Cucumber JUnit. Okay, so now what we are going to run? So we are going to run the class files which we are going to create across our project. So in order to run the class file, so inside the run with annotation, so we should pass the parameter called as an cucumber.class. Okay, so as we are running the class files of Cucumber, like we should pass the argument called as an cucumber.class inside this at run with annotation. So now after adding at run with annotation, so you could see the run button is enabled. So which means like we are going to run the program, so only with the help of the annotation, and in order to run the program, like we are going to use the annotation called as an at run with. And how this at run with work in the sense, like we need to add the respective dependency. Suppose adding the dependency, I'm using the at run with annotation, and inside which I'm just passing the argument called as an cucumber.class as we are going to run the cucumber class file. So now, so like we are having feature file in one place and we are having step definition in one place, and how we are going to run the feature file. So like we are having n number of feature file, as well as the single feature file can contain multiple scenario. So how we are going to run this up? So either we may run the entire feature, or either we may run the specific test, or either we may run the group of test. So like there are many ways of combination to initiate the run. But before that, like we need to provide the path of the feature file as well as the path of the step definition file, so that the runner class will aware so where the feature file and where the step definition file is present. And how we are going to provide the mapping in the sense with the help of the annotation called as an at cucumber options. Okay, so there is an another annotation called as an at cucumber options, and with the help of the at cucumber options, so we are going to map the path of feature file and step definition file. And how we are going to map this path of the feature file and the step definition file in the sense, so this at cucumber option, by default it will contain some inbuilt method, so in which first method is called as an features method. With the help of the features method, we will be mapping the path of the feature file, and another method we call it as an glue method. With the help of the glue method, like we are going to map the path of the step definition file. So which means like we need to map the content root path. So what is meant by content or root path in the sense? So like we need to start, we should provide the path from the source folder. Okay, so we should provide the path from the source folder. So for the glue path, so just we can provide the package name of the step definition. So this is the fixed rule. So while creating this at cucumber options. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to replicate the same. So now under the at run with annotation, I'm going to add one more annotation called as an at cucumber options. Okay, I'm just selecting from the statement. I'm using the annotation called as cucumber option. I'm adding the open and close bracket. And inside this cucumber options, so we are going to provide the path of the feature file and path of the step definition file. So just I'm expanding, just I'm entering this, just I'm clicking on the enter and expanding the open and close parenthesis. And this at cucumber option will contain some methods. So how we can see the method in the sense, so we can just click control plus space. So whenever you click control space, if I do the control space, so I could able to see what are the inbuilt method which is available inside the runner. So we are having different methods like tag, glue, features, plugin, etc. So we will be discussing one by one. And the method called as an features is available. And near to the features method, so they have mentioned open and close parenthesis. So like what is mean by open and close parenthesis? So we have already seen, so while creating an array, so if you have noticed, like we have stored the value inside the open and close parenthesis. So when it is of an open and close parenthesis, it indicate we are going to store a multiple values. So in the runner class, so the feature method is a kind of an array. So I'm just using this features method, okay, and then I'm providing the open and close parenthesis where I'm going to provide the path of the feature file. So but we are using the Maven. So the Maven is having few folder structure. So in the day one, I told like we are having the different folders like so source test Java. Then we are having the other folders called as an sorry, it's an source main Java, and then main resources, and then we are having the test Java and test resources. So these are the four folders we are having in the Maven. So the Maven provides four folders in which I told, so like we are going to use this test Java for doing the automation coding. Okay, so I told like we are going to do the automation coding in the test Java. So which means, okay, we have created the step definition, that is fine, it contains the coding. But we have added this feature file. The feature file doesn't contains the coding. So then where we are going to store the feature file in the sense, so the feature file should be stored under the test resources. So generally the test resources will hold the supportive files required for an automation or required for a coding. So which means the feature file, the test design, it contain the test design. So which will act as a supportive file. So as it is of a supportive file, so we should always place inside the test resources. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this feature file to the resource folder. So it is simple, you can just drag and drop inside the resources, and suppose that if you just click on the refactor, so the feature file will be moved to the resource folder. Okay, so now we could see, so we have added the feature file in the resource folder. So the reason why I have added the feature file to the resource folder in the sense, because like Maven provides a proper folder structure. So we are going to do the automation coding in the test Java. So and we are going to place the supportive files in the test resources. So the design sheet, the feature file will act as a supportive file for the coding. So that is the reason like we are adding up inside the resource folder. Okay, so now we need to provide the path of the feature file. So where the path of the feature file is provided in the sense, so we should provide the content root. So what is meant by content root? In the sense, it should start from the source folder. So like as we are providing the path, so we should provide inside the double quotes, because like it is kind of a string. So I'm starting from the source folder, and from the source folder, so we are navigating to the test folder, and after navigating test folder, we are navigating to the resources. Okay, and pose that under the resources, like we are navigating to this package called as an, okay, feature file. Okay, so we have provided the path of the feature file. So where the feature file is located, in the sense, so we are navigating from the source to test to resources to the feature file. Or other easy way is like you can just click on this feature file. So just if you right click on it, so you could see an option called as an copy path or copy reference. So if I click on the copy path, so we could see like there is an absolute path. So I told what is meant by absolute. Absolute is nothing but it will traverse from the parent to child. So parent in the sense, so where from the local disk D to, in the local disk we have created the folder called as in Selenium, and under which like we have created the folder called as in Jan 2024. So which is, it is accessing from head to tail. So we generally we won't provide the absolute path, because like the absolute path will differ from system to system. So that is the reason like we are going to provide the content path. So in my system, like it is not showing the content path, but always the content path will which start from the source. So if it start from the source folder, like probably you can copy the content path from here and you can paste it up. Or else if the content path is not appearing correctly, so you can type manually. So starting from the source followed by the forward slash of test resources and Java. And then as it is of an array, so even we can add a multiple path. Okay, so in the future we may add a multiple path, but now as we have created only like one path, so I'm just mapping this particular path. So now we have mapped the path of the feature file with the help of the keyword called as in features, or we can call as with the help of the method called as in features. And suppose that we need to map the path of the step definition file. So we are going to map the path of the step definition file with the help of the glue method. So whenever you need to add other method inside the cucumber option, so at the end of another method you should provide comma. So I'm just providing the comma, and I'm just clicking on the enter. And how we can see the suggestion, in the sense, so as I told, if you just do the controlled space, if you just click on the control space, so you can see the suggestions. So from the suggestions, so just a search whether we are having the method called as an glue. Okay, so now let me just retype it. If I just do the control space, so here I could see there is a glue, and even near to the glue they have mentioned the open and the close parenthesis, even it is an array. So which means we can map multiple step definition path. So now as of now we have created only one step definition path, which is nothing but the step definition by the package. So I'm just going to map the package name. So I'm just going to map the package name. So the package name is called as an step definition. So now we have created some structure. So like we are having the feature file where we have done the coding, and then we are having the step definition file where we are going to map the coding, and then we are having the runner file, and with the help of the runner file we are going to run the respective test.